welcome back to the Knights of Last Call. This was an unexpected stream, but here we are. I'm on my headset tonight, not the RE20, because I'm going to get my hands free. Whiteboard, you say? No. Instead, we have another celebration in the ongoing movement that is Daggerheart. And that is the release of the Foundryborne, official release of the Foundryborne module, which is a system module for Daggerheart version 1.0.0. Is this going to be perfect? Well, we'll find out. Probably not, but I am very, very excited about this indeed, because the things I've seen, screenshots and some of the short clips give this a lot of promise. And, this is just the beginning, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it is not an exaggeration to say that having a very solid, good VTT is a huge part of how successful a game and a game system can be today. And I think if we look at some of the very, outside of course, D&D, let's exempt that for a moment. The games that are doing the best have robust support, usually from a community, and have a free or available SRD. Daggerheart has a free or available SRD. And of course, it has Roll20 integration. The problem with Roll20 integration is that I hate Roll20. Now you might say, well, I have a premium Roll20 membership. I really do. But it costs money, and it's not great, and it's like 20 years old, and they haven't really updated anything about it. But it's also kind of difficult to do things with it, and it doesn't have the kind of community support that, quite frankly, Foundry has. And Foundry has continued to impress me, and it's continued to, really just be the bedrock of our entire online community here. Real quick, I do want to shout out a couple people in chat, and I only know this because I've got the Git repo up. Shout out to Captain Cosmo, and shout out to Icarake Gaming. Captain Cosmo and Icarake Gaming are apparently some of the developers. So welcome to the stream. Cool to have you here. Hopefully, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. But yeah, we're honored to have you here, and yeah, it'll be good. So cool. Couple devs in here. All right, sick. So we are going to be taking a look at that tonight. I updated my Foundry, and we're going to go from there. Edward, stop it. Edward, thank you.
Edward tipped $20. Thanks for covering this, and thanks to the devs in chat and the team. Dagger reaches.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, we have a ongoing Pathfinder 2 mega game called Northern Reaches, and we joke about creating one for Daggerheart. And by the way, I should say that is one of the reasons why. I mean, I don't exaggerate this. I would be really surprised if any person, organization, or whatever, because Knights of Last Call is basically me, has spent more money on Foundry than me. I think between my personal licenses, we have a Forge server that is for our personal, Knights of Last Call use, aka the actual company. So we have a Forge server for that. We have a Forge server for our community games. We support people playing on Foundry, any system. You can play on our Forge server, which is maxed out for free, as being part of our Knights of Last Call Patreon. So we have Foundry licenses there. We have Foundry licenses on our personal server. I own Foundry licenses. And then we have our Northern Reaches server. And for those of you who don't know, that's also got its own Forge server. It had so many games on it and so many Forges that Forge had to contact us and said, we can't support this anymore. We have to, cancel you. And I said, okay, we'll pay you more money. And they said, wait one. They got in touch with their CEO and they created a new enterprise level option for us so that we can support like running 10 plus games at a time simultaneously. I would say, all in all, I think I've probably spent close to 30. I think I've bought 30 or more Foundry licenses, maybe 40 if you include some that we have given away. So either way, I've spent a lot of money on Foundry, a lot of money on Forge. And a part of the reason for that is I think it's great. I think it's the best VTT that I've used. I love that it's community supported, community ran. I love that it's buy once, cry once. It's not even that bad of a cry. You can host it locally. It's just a great platform. And of course, I think a lot of the success of Pathfinder 2nd Edition can be laid squarely at the feet of the success and the amount of sheer development hours that have gone into the Pathfinder 2 system module. And it's, kind of crazy that they can there's so much of Pathfinder 2 success is for that, and it's free. It's a community run thing. It's crazy. It's wild. Now, that being said, look, I love some of the stuff that I love. I love the free league modules that they put out, which are custom modules. And I'm happy to pay the $15, $20, $25, $30 for a beautiful custom module. But what some people are putting out for free is absolutely crazy. And I'm hoping that we can create some sort of symbiotic relationship where these Foundry devs for Daggerheart, don't get exploited and just find themselves stuck in the grind. I hope that there's a way that they can, be taken care of as well for this. So, even if it means I looked, by the way, you guys, all of you in here, you gotta get a coffee link or something, or Patreon. You gotta get a Patreon, guys. You gotta get a Patreon. All right, you gotta at least get a coffee link or a stream tips link or a PayPal link or a coffee or Patreon. You gotta get it. Put it together. Support yourselves. Support your team. Do it. All right. So just take care of yourselves there a little bit. Now, I see self-confessed cynic. Just living up to the name. Shout out to the devs in chat. I may hate the name of your module, but I respect the work. All right. So to be completely transparent here, the name of the system module is Daggerheart. So I just this is my game system. This is my own personal. Obviously, I'm running this locally on my machine, not on one of my Forge systems. But the name of the module is Daggerheart version 1.0.0. So that is the name of the actual system module. He says, "Oh my God." So Foundryborne. Now, Vin, I know that you don't like Daggerheart, or I'm sorry, you barely tolerate Daggerheart. But in Daggerheart, you have these things called communities, and they all follow the naming pattern of blank born. So you're lore born, you're order born, you're wild born, you're sea born. Thus, the name of this development community is Foundryborne because they are all tied into it. All right. But the name of the system module is just Daggerheart. So just to be clear. Before we begin, I do want to do a couple of real quick Dagger Hype adjacent shout outs. Number one, I'm very excited about this box. In fact, I'm going to open this box. Let's see if we can open this box on. Hopefully I didn't get screwed here. Yeah, frames are dropping. Yeah, YouTube and the internet has been weird here lately. Okay, so this is really wrapped up well, which is good. What's in the box? This is thrilling television. Again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's YouTube, if it's the server, if it's my internet. I don't think it's my internet, but So this, here we go, is the final. Here we go. It is the final Lumix G Micro Four Thirds lens. What is it? 16 to 24, 14 to 42. This is the final lens that we were waiting for this. This is the fourth camera for our home setup. And, of course, it is missing its lens. So we were waiting for one more lens. So now we have all of our lenses for our camera bodies so that we can complete the creation of the home studio so that we can play Daggerheart in person. Which is awesome. Now, I'm excited to play it, of course, on VTTs, but I really like to play things in person. Now, to that end, I do have one other thing that I want to shout out, which is inside this box, which came today. So this is from the fine folks over at Mad Dragon. All right. So you can find them at maddragonwoodcraft.com. And this is a couple who make handcrafted gaming stuff. And what they did is Aaron, who helps run it, is a member of our Patreon and is in chat. What's going on, Aaron? And I was talking about some of the difficulties that I'm going to be having with an actual play. And one of the things that I've always had a problem with is Bob and I have always wanted to show the dice. And we really get excited about showing the dice in the actual play. It bothers me that Critical Role doesn't show the dice. So I was saying how I really want to show the dice, but it's kind of a challenge, even with good cameras. I said, what I need is big D12s. And we were talking, and Aaron and his wife reached out to me, and they said, hey, we make custom dice. So I worked with them to develop, if you will, and obviously they did the 99% of the work. But what we ended up coming out with was giant D12s, which are in the hope and fear colors without being too low contrast. For those of you who don't know, I'm very picky about what my dice are. So tier 0 dice are black and white or white or black, right? So that is the highest possible contrast with no, swirling or twirling. I wanted dice that were not tier 0. I wanted dice that were tier 1, 1.5, which meant that they were still very high contrast, very readable. And so there's a couple of things that are important to these. Number one, they're big without being too big, like comic size big. Number two, the font is bigger than you would normally have in a dice like this. It's deeper. It is a pure white. Even the initial hope and fear colors were toned down a little bit so that we can increase the contrast without making it too bad. So the end result is we get a hope and a fear dice that are very, very high contrast and polished in such a way that the shine has been, so there's sort of a matte finish on these, and that way they reflect less light, so we don't get glare from our lights and on our cameras. So they went ahead and put together a fantastic set of these. We got a bunch of these. They also made me this fantastic, awesome, for those of you who don't know, this wood here is Purple Heart, which is a very, very cool wood. The wood on the top, I'm not sure. Is it sapele? Is it mahogany? Maybe it's, Aaron's in the thing. He can tell me. But they made me this awesome little dice tray with a nice leather interior. And they even put the Knights of Last Call logo kind of laser etched in there. So we have this really cool tray. We got these really cool dice. So that's really awesome. But what's even awesome, this is how you can tell how awesome Knights of Last Call community members are. Because they sent us enough dice for me to hand out to the boys. But they also sent me 3 extra packs of dice. And you know what that means? It means in the future, in our upcoming thing, we are going to be giving out. We're going to be giving out some of the. I don't even think you can buy these yet, but we're going to be giving away Daggerheart dice. So, for those of you who are at home, who may want to get a chance to win one of these, definitely stay tuned. We're going to be doing some other stuff there. So, lots of cool stuff. Really awesome dice. Shout out again to Aaron and his wife. Shout out to Mad Dragon. And again, thank you so much for that. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. I saw the ones that Darrington Press put out, but I'm not gonna lie. I would not call them they are like tier 2.5 dice, maybe even tier 3. And the reason I say that is because number one, I find that the swirl is a little inappropriate, is a little bit distracting. And number two, I am not a fan of the giant symbol on the 12 or the 1. I think it's confusing. And so one of the things that Aaron had said to me was like, oh, do you want me to put the Knights of Last Call symbol on like the 12 or the 1? And I said, absolutely not. I want these to just be maximum, readability, viewability. We have there's a little bit of a purple swirl. There's a little bit of a golden orange swirl here. So there's a little bit of an aesthetic choice. But fundamentally, I didn't want that. So while I do love the Daggerheart symbol, it's not my favorite. Okay, so that is all the fun, cool stuff that's happening right now. So now again, there's nothing wrong with having logo dice and just being hype about it. That's just a personal bug. That's just a personal bugbear for me. I want people at home when they see that dice and they see a 12, they know it's a 12. You just immediately get it. So let's check out the Daggerheart system. So again, I've installed this on my local drive, my local setup, and we've got a Daggerheart system installed, version 1.0.0. So we're going to create a new world. The world title, we're going to go with Dagger Hype. We're going to choose Daggerheart. We don't need anything extra special for that. And let's launch this bad boy. Oh, that's not right. There we go. Okay. So I have not used this. So welcome, prospective GM or player, the Foundryborne team. See, Vin, their community. They're the Foundryborne team, hoping you'll have a great time enjoying this system and enjoying Daggerheart. We've included some good notes and all of our sponsors. We have a system documentation. This system supports various levels of automation. So just to be clear, I'm going to really be looking at 2 or 3 things. Number one, how cool is the existing integration? That's, that's part of the fun of it. Number 2, does it have everything that I would want it to have? And so basically, I should say, number 1, what does it have? And does it have enough? Number 2, and this is going to be where I'm probably going to, ding them. One of my big problems with Foundry systems is not being able to change things. I remember Pathfinder 2, the way we originally played it was you could have more than 3 hero points. And, it wasn't until someone released a module for the system that let us track how much it has things. And, of course, one of my huge complaints about Demiplane Nexus is how bad it has been for people who really want to homebrew. So we're going to be taking a look at that. But it says it supports various levels of automation. You can set this in the automation system settings. The most immediate choice you should make is if you want to use the game settings for level up automation. You should make a choice there and then not change it during play to avoid potential unwanted oddities. Okay, good notes. Some things are currently not automated, but of course we can always manually change this, and they're going to be working on things in the future. Okay, cool. All right. Now, it's not a big deal for me, but if Bob was here, he would be saying, what about Dice So Nice? And right off rip, from version 1.0.0, this does include support for Dice So Nice. So I do have an updated version of Dice So Nice, so we'll see how that works. You can customize Hope, Fear, Advantage, and Disadvantage dice. Sick. And then for credits, we want to shout out Harry F., Captain Cosmo in chat, Molio in chat, Joaquin, DePulp, iCrake, Irk the Imp, Jacob Wojo. Shout out Jacob. Vrith, Ontario, Satson, David, and Lazgen with art from Username and Loose. So shout out to all of these incredible people. We have some of them in chat, and I just want to say thank you so much. Your team is getting this done. Real quick, also, I know there was a lot of teeth gnashing because and I even experienced this at Gen Con, which is like, where was the shout out to Foundry? And, it doesn't look like there's going to be an official module. That's okay, because the community module could even be better, as it sometimes is, and it can be faster to update. That being said, originally it wasn't really allowed. They weren't allowed to release this module. And I think it really goes, I talked with the Darrington Press people at Gen Con, and, they were very, very forthright. They were very, very honest. And what they basically said is, we don't know what we're doing. and they said that in the most genuine, but somehow, it actually was very, very soothing, to me, because again, it's it was good to know that this is new for them. They were a small team put together, and now suddenly this game is sold way better than they ever expected it to. You can tell by the fact that it keeps selling out. And when they even wrote the CGL, they are still trying to fill this out. So, again, all in all, I one of the things they said is, we didn't mean to put that in there to, shit on the people who are trying to make this for Foundry, So, yeah. We had a super chat from Hard Bushido. If you're using the Forge, I am not using the Forge right now. This is my home, and I installed it through the manifest JSON link. If you're using the Forge, you need to manually pick the 1.0 version. By default, it would install 2.13, which is a completely different Daggerheart system. Shout out Hard Bushido. So if you are using the Forge, keep that in mind. Sweet. I'm going to be at PAX U as well. That's fantastic. Oh, hey, look, I did meet them semi-officially since I got invited to the Daggerheart meet and greet or whatever. But all right. So we are paused. First things first, I don't think we can really see it here, but can we shout out the Daggerheart system Foundry, the Foundryborne logo? What a fantastic fucking logo. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I just want to put this up because it looks so good. I don't know, you guys got, I use the term working loosely because I'm sure they're not getting paid. But I say that kind of like lovingly. Okay, here we go. There we go. Here's the GitHub. Look at that. That is, it's simple. It's beautiful. It's a great combination of Foundry's logo with the Daggerheart logo with the thing. It's just such a great, it looks good. It's got a great color scheme. It's the little details sometimes for someone like me that really matters. What's up? Foundry module for Daggerheart just dropped today. Roll for combat. That's what's up. Did you get the link I sent you? I uploaded the video to a Dropbox or to a Google Drive. It was like 6 gigs. So that link you sent me didn't work because it was like limited to 3 gigabytes. I video recorded and audio recorded Roll for Combats and Professor Dungeon Masters. Deathbringer. Deathbringer in Shadow Dark seminar at Gen Con, and I had to edit it and send it to him. So, all right. So we've got a fear tracker over here to the left. I literally just opened this, so I have no idea what I'm doing here. I am logged in as the game master. Okay, cool. I can play around with this. Neat. Okay. That is pretty intuitive. So that's good. Okay. Yes. Daggerbringer, Death Dark, Shadow Zoo. That's correct. All right. Let's go here. Okay. We got our chat. I am in dark mode. All right. So let's start off by going over to the game settings because I'm going to get into this. Let's configure settings. Daggerheart. Okay. So automation settings. So it looks like off the rip, we can automate GM, Hope, and Fear. So what I'm assuming what this does, and we'll test this, is that if we turn on these automations, then if the players roll with Fear, it will automatically give the GM a Fear. And if the players is turned on with Fear, it'll automatically grant them a Hope when they roll with Hope or a critical hit. It doesn't work well on light mode, just a heads up. Okay, well, that's okay. So right off the bat, I love that these are automation options. I would be bothered if this happened automatically and I would be bothered if this worked automatically and didn't I couldn't turn it off. So I actually really like that. And by default, by the way, they are turned off. Action points are an optional rule. That's the thing where like you track how many when a person goes, do they take an action? Super chat from Vin said, boot a browser instance 2 to see the player view. Oh, okay, log in as a player just so we can see what it looks like as a player. Yeah, we'll take care of that. Automatic horde damage is checked on. Automatic horde damage. I'm not sure what that is referring to. Minions? No. What are the special rules for hordes that are automatic? Okay. Effects are range dependent. That is on. So that means by default the game is doing some sort of range calculation math for us. Level up automation is on. Oh, okay. It's to automatically adjust their. Okay, that I knew. Okay, yes. I just assumed that was. Yeah. Whenever. So, well, we got a couple people talking about here. So, I don't remember that being a rule. What am I looking for here? GM guidance, mechanics. Adversaries. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So hordes. Yeah. Okay. Hordes, when they're quote unquote bloodied, it reduces down. Players can manually edit character settings, and that is an option. Okay. Cool. Damage reduction rules default. Okay. On with toggle. So we'll take a look at that, and then show resource changes in the scroll text. Okay. So I'm going to reset that. So that looks good, but I'm still. Ooh. Well done. Well done.
I am strong.
So these were the three settings that I was actually really, really interested about. Which is, could I change the fear? Right now, Daggerheart has a max of 12 fear. What if in my campaign we're playing and I have a curse, or the players fail to stop a necromancer and the darkness is beginning to spread, right? I'm thinking about fronts. I'm thinking about impending dooms, right? I'm thinking about the prophecies or whatever. And as a result of the player's actions or failures, or maybe they all took avoid death, I talk about how darkness is spreading through the land. And now in my game, you can go to 15 fear. You can go to 20 fear. And then I come to play this game and this module, and suddenly I can't do that because it stops me at 12. So this is fantastic. This is the kind of stuff that I really look for. This is the stuff that makes me want to use a module and not shit on it. And again, I understand that not everybody plays games like me. Most people play games really loosey-goosey. I will say that that's one of the biggest advantages that Pathfinder 2 has for it, which is that most people are running it pretty strictly by the rules. But this is a fiction-first game. This is a PBTA heavily inspired game. You're going to be changing stuff around. So, right, from how many class domains people can have to the next number of cards in your loadout. You can set it to blank or 0 if you want to have unlimited. So this is really cool. The starting traits by default are 2, 1, 1, 0, 0, -1. We can change those. And we can even change the names of the coins, of whether we call them chests, bags, or handful. And I'm sure that this will expand as, look at that, right off the rip. We've got all the base domains, and then we have a bonus that we can add domain names to. This cannot be altered later. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a weird thing, but good to know. So we can add our own homebrew domains. It remains to be seen. We'll have to go into the compendiums and see where the abilities go, but it should be interesting. Downtime. Oh, look at that. So we can add downtime actions here. We can take how many moves our players are getting. These are all the default options. And this is just exactly what I wanted to see. Cool. The fact that we have the kind of default game icon stuff that you see is pretty cool too. I'm assuming was this designed for you guys, or is this But this is great. Just Vin says already impressed, especially like the look at Brew. Yeah, this is great. This is absolutely great. So if I wanted to add a wild domain, there we go. Very cool. And I can change the icon right here. Sweet. I'll just pick that one because why not? Oop, what'd I do? Look at that. Boom. The biohazard icon. That's awesome. Great. Cool. This is so cool. This is so cool. So Captain Cosmo confirming that we cannot add Void right now because it's not part of the SRD. Cool. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Ready to Play a Role says, oh, wow, this is nice. Crazy. This is more detailed than Demiplane. Look, if you like Demiplane, I'm glad you're using it. I'm glad you're having fun with it, but I have a lot of problems with it. I have a lot of problems with their model. I have a lot of problems with their limitations, especially since people are paying for it. But this is the kind of stuff that I want to see and have. I know we're just going into the customization stuff, but quite frankly, I mean, this is where, for me, this is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, yeah, that's a great reason to like it because it looks beautiful, it's well integrated, but you hate that you can't homebrew, you know? Vince says, if people are surprised by this stuff, welcome. This is why we were complaining about Demiplane. Yeah, I mean, some of my complaints are mostly baseless, but this is a case one. That's also true, right? Demiplane also gates free SRD conflict behind a paywall. Everything is free. Although I did see an interview that Todd Kenrick did with the guy over at Demiplane. He seems like a great guy. And I think he said that they are now going to release the gate on the SRD content. I think I saw that. I don't know if they've done that yet. But Todd interviewed him at Gen Con, and I watched that interview. So we'll talk about this at some point. You know what? We might as well talk about this right now. Okay. And I'm talking, you know, look, we got a lot of devs here. So the biggest problem that I have with Foundry, and this is what I'm really interested to see how this changes, which is Foundry right now sucks at card support. And everyone who's ever used Foundry for any attempt to any type of card thing knows that it sucks. And while obviously the element of cards doesn't matter as much when you're playing in a VTT because a lot of that stuff is going to be managed and handled on your character sheet instead of, you know, on the tabletop in your sort of quote-unquote player tableau, I would love to see a world where Foundry has cool and good card support. Now, that's not something that the Daggerheart, you know, that's not something the Foundryborne team is going to be able to fix or do. But one of the reasons my Torchbearer game is on Roll20 and not on Foundry, aside from the fact that the Foundry implementation was kind of problematic, I paid a developer to develop it, and they did a good job, but it still didn't have everything I needed, mostly because of the lack of card support. And a big part of the card support of Torchbearer is Torchbearer and, you know, uses this card resolution system for its conflict. So anyways, but yeah, I do think it's this. Now you're nervous about our loadout implementation. All right, we'll see what we get here. I mean, that is my dream. You know, man, I'd love a card interface to show you everything you have instead of a standard VTT character sheet where everything is locked behind tabs. Correct. And if you will indulge me very quickly, I'm just gonna just show you guys something. So, you know, Torchbearer is a game where inventory management is really, really important. And, you know, you have a certain number of slots, and the number of slots of your inventory depends on whether you are carrying a bag or you have a backpack or do you have a satchel. And a backpack takes up 2 slots on your back, but it gives you 6 slots of inventory. A satchel only gives you 3 slots for your inventory, and different items take different things, and, you know, and yada, 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 and all this other stuff. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, what can we do about that? So again, if you'll indulge me, this is my Roll20 Torchbearer game. And what this is the character sheets have sort of been, obviously there are character sheets, you know, if we look at, you know, Urber here, the dwarf, and we bring up his character sheet, you know, this character sheet is part of the game. But if you look at his inventory, his kit, it is all blank. And the reason it's blank is because the players actually track all of their inventory here on the actual battle or the whatever this is called, the tableau, right? And so items and stuff can be moved between the characters by actually exchanging these icons, right? And so, this is for me really, really cool because this is what this game is leaning into. It's leaning into this idea of the sort of tactility, and I wanted the players to be able to see each other's inventory, and you can glance at Sadok and you can see that Sadok has all 6 of his slots open, whereas if you look at Erber or Amos, you can see that they have a lot of stuff open, a lot of stuff full. Whereas you could see here Tane, the Untrusting, our mage, they have a small sack equipped in their offhand, and so that gives him these 2 extra slots here for holding in a bag. Tane also has belt pouches, which gives him these belt pouch slots down here. So anyways, so this is just an example of, for me, why, one of the reasons I used it. But the real main reason I ended up using this is because in Torchbearer, there is this idea of the conflict deck, which is what you use, if I could ever find it, it's what you use to do a conflict. And, when we're playing, right, the players line up on one side, the enemies line up on another side, and we actually literally drag these cards. The GM chooses them in secret, and then the players choose theirs in secret, and then, we flip them over one at a time so that people can see, oh, okay, this is flip card. So they, okay, oh, we're attacking, they're defending, blah, 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 blah. So, this was a big part of what we did here. Not to highlight Roll20, but I was just simply saying that, this game has cards, and I like that idea of that cards. But in any case, so let's get into this here a little bit. Let me take it off pause. Let me go back to the configure. We were looking at homebrew. We were happy with what we saw there. Appearance. Fear can be a token or a bar. Okay, got it. Oop. Or it can be, or we can just hide it if we don't want our players to know. So I like the tokens a lot. So cool. And again, the fact that this is here, we might see more of this in the future. And then we have variant rules. So the first thing that we see here at the bottom is the action tokens. This is the thing that limits you. If you have a group that really struggles with how many times, why wouldn't our best player just go 18 times in a row? This is where you use that action thing. So you can turn this on or off, and how many action tokens they get is how many actions someone can take before, once they're out, they can't get them until everyone resets. Then we have the range settings. Now, by default, this is enabled, but I'm assuming this is if you're using sort of a grid but not a grid, where you actually can check this. And I like that you can just turn this off, and we can just eyeball this, and we don't have to fucking worry about it. But if you do turn it on, then I'm assuming that this is going to be able to imply or use some sort of checking, or at least some sort of range consideration for whether someone is in melee range, very close, or far, using a kind of gridless maps, And it does work with gridless maps when enabled, which is cool. That way we don't even have to worry about the grid, but we're still checking distances. Now, I don't want really people checking distances, period, but that's just me. I understand that even by default, Daggerheart has this idea, right, of I've seen a lot of things on Reddit with the rulers, that's just not my personal thing to do. Hey, what's up? Great Deanie Gaming. Happy you doing it. Happy you keep doing it, Derek. Watching you is part of me loving TTRPGs. Sick. Thank you, buddy. I wasn't going to stream tonight. This dropped, and I'm excited about it, and I want to talk about it with people, and that's why it's cool for me to have a channel, because I can just turn on a stream and hang out with, 180 of my friends. Let me try turning up the bit rate again. We were kind of bouncing all over the place here. Hopefully we won't start dropping frames. Let me know if we get some stuttering. Okay. So that's that. All right. So we got our chat window. Okay. That's all normal. We can create encounters. Okay. We got scenes, nothing normal. I'm around here. All right. So create actors. Let's see what's in the compendium is cool. So we got the SRD as an option. We've got journals, which contains information about the Daggerheart SRD. Information, this is what popped up when we joined the game, but it looks like they have pretty much most of the stuff that would be relevant here in the SRD. Then we also have the Wither Wild campaign frame, which is a part of the SRD. Okay, cool. We've got an environment separated by tiers. Oh, look at this. Very cool. We got a tier, the difficulty, potential adversaries. We can drag them out. Well, I don't have a scene. Let me create a scene. Okay. So if we go over to the compendium, we go to the environment, we're in the abandoned grove, we're in the potential adversaries. Ho ho ho! You can drag them out. That is very, very sweet. I know I'm dragging it directly. I should import it, but you know, I mean, I'm not gonna ding. I mean, technically, right? There is no art, you know, officially, but yeah, I mean, I feel that, you know, we some placeholder art's fine, but you know, that's cool. I love that. Again, I don't love VTTs, and you know, you might say, Derek, what are you talking about? You just said you've probably spent more money on Foundry than anybody else. It's true. I like playing in person, but there are advantages to playing on VTTs. And also, let me stress this: Knights of Last Call, not me, the real Knights of Last Call, our community exists because of Foundry. Our Northern Reaches game, which it really propelled Knights of Last Call into its like second rebirth, and really gave us the momentum that we needed to succeed at a time when we needed it, exists because of Foundry. So I am hugely thankful for Foundry for letting my players be able to communicate and play with one another. So I think it's a big deal. So here's the problem, Zen Bullet. It's not about the map for me. It's not about the map. I like being able to see people's dice rolls. I like being able to look at other people's character sheets. Now, I know some people, you know, they'll do it in like a group shared Excel spreadsheet and some other stuff. For me, it's a little annoying that I have to have like Discord open and a dice roller open and a whatever open. I like being able to keep everything in sort of one place. So even like when I was showing you my Roll20 for Torchbearer, that doesn't have, there's no grid there. We just have like little sprite icons of the characters just to sort of put them on the screen. But there's no like movement. There's no tactical movement. It's all theater of the mind. But we do it because we like to have it, you know? So anyways, very cool. So we got all the environments here from the SRD. Very cool. And again, like just little things like, you know, when you're the GM and you can be like, okay, you guys enter the bustling marketplace, and you know, you can just bloop, you know, you can just send that to the chat window, and you know, the PCs can gain advantage on a presence roll by offering a handful of gold as part of the interaction. You know, you can role play your way into that and then boom, drop the mechanic. So stuff like that is fun. It's neat, which is cool. Where were we? Oh, we're in compendiums. Okay, we got all the adversaries by tier. Cool. So let's take a look at what a cave ogre looks like. Okay, we've got its features. Now, does this work? Can I drag this? Oop, I closed it. My bad. All right, so draw the cave ogre in. Okay, spend fear. All right. Did I do something wrong? I need to import it as a sheet. Okay. This is just me not knowing how to use Foundry. Fair enough. Does the ogre have one? Okay. There we go. All right, so we got our actors. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. But isn't this isn't this not in the compendium? But I don't know. Anyways. You must spend a fear to spotlight the ogre. That's a bug, or it wasn't targeted. Oh, maybe it wasn't targeted. All right. Well, maybe it's a bug. I don't know. Or maybe I'm doing something wrong. But either way. Cool. Hill of Boulders. Club. Okay. I can tag an experience if I want to. Oh, okay. I'm not in the spotlight. Is that what's happening? So how do I didn't see that anything about that in the I didn't see anything about that in the information. Is there like something I need to do in order to control the spotlight? Is that like a thing I have to actually manually set? Is there like some sort of macro or something? People are saying it has nothing to do with spotlight. Apparently I need to be in combat. Oh. I'm trying to zoom in. Sorry. All right. What's this do? Give the spotlight. There we go. Okay. Oh, it is fixed. It's a bug. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, so I can kind of give the spotlight through this little hand icon here. Okay. Well, now our ogre has the club attack. Okay, cool. Some bonus damage. All right. Obviously, we're applying it to somebody who doesn't exist, so let's create another person for our ogre to attack. The bear. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got the dagger. All right, let's... what happened? Oh, look at that. Our bear's getting messed up. Can I change it here? Yes, I can. That's sick. Okay, cool. Oh, nope. I marked him dead. Never mind. I forgot how hit points work in this system. Okay, so he's got 0-7. Okay, so I got my ogre. He's got the bear targeted. I am going to swing my club at him. I'm rolling a d20. It's +1. It's a public roll. He's not throwing anything, so I'm not going to mark this experience. All right, here we go. So he hit a 13, which should have missed because his difficulty is 14. Just trying to figure this out here. Maybe. Oh, there it goes. Miss. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oops. Spend a fear. He's got relentless, and he does it again. Rawr. All right, we'll give him advantage. Okay, there we go. So he hits. So we're going to roll damage. He does D10 +2. So he rolled an 8. What happened here? And we deal the damage. So we have to roll the damage and then deal it? Is that what I'm Got it. So it's like it's a 2-step process. Right, makes sense, I guess, because you have to like choose if something is going to use armor or something like that. It'll be interesting. Well, I'm having monsters attack monsters, which is something that doesn't even really happen in the game. So, but 8 does a minor damage. So yeah, that's correct. Right. Okay. So that's pretty cool. It's nice. It's nice that you guys put these little icons in here. I appreciate that. Bloop. All right. Well, the bear didn't make an attack. All right, so we're just messing around here with compendiums here. We've got items, we've got weapons, armors, loot, consumables, and we have all the different character options as well. Okay. So let's create a character. Okay, let's give them a name. We'll call them Vash. Okay. So, and if the automation is on, it will spend a fear. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got Vosh is our new character. So they're level 0, so we're going to tick up. Now, I think character level up automation is on, so I think that's what we're seeing right now. So we get to select an ancestry. What ancestry should Vosh be? I like the idea of a Dracona. So my instinct is to drag it, and dragging it worked. Good. Okay. Thank you for the 10 reals, Flavia. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so we got a dragon. You know what? Dragon tide type is building up, so we'll go with dragon from the sea. Okay. Ooh, we got to pick a class. I'm thinking warrior. I'm imagining kind of a swashbuckler type. So we're going to go with Call of the Brave. Okay. So suggested traits are agility +2, strength +1. I'll go with 2. Oh, look at that. It reduces. I don't think you guys can actually see this. Let me change the window. Hold on a sec. I got to change my window capture mode. No, it should. I guess you guys can't see the drop downs when I'm clicking on them. What's cool is with the initial drop down, it now only shows me that, it only shows me 1 1 -1 0 because it's thing. So we'll give him a 1, and finesse will be a 1, and let's make his knowledge -1. He's not very smart, he's raised on a boat. We need 2 experiences. Maybe he was a pirate or something, a smuggler or something. So I'm going to put, Raider of the North Sea, but that doesn't sound fantastic enough. Raider of the Dusk Sea. That'll be our quote unquote combat experience. And for an experience, I want to give him something more useful, kind of skill related, thiefy related. I'm not a thief. I'm a smuggler. All right. There we go. Cool. We got 2 + 2 experiences. And then we got to pick our domain cards. And we can see that they are from the Blade and Bone domains. So we've got... Ooh, this is always tough, man. I don't know how people are going to do this. I'm glad I'm going to be probably a forever GM with Daggerheart. I don't know how you're going to pick 6. And you're going to pick 2 out of 6. And then there's going to be people like me, who's a complete asshole, who are going to, add new powers for you to track and stuff like that. It's going to be tough. Kalana says, I'd love to have some sort of token tractor for stuff like Steeborn. Instead of having to have the card open, I will 10,000% forget. And that's what I was talking about when I talk about like the card being part of your visual HUD and being able to sort of see it. Because I think that is important. I know this isn't a real character, so I'm going to give it Whirlwind because I can't imagine a character in the warrior thing without doing it. But I'm imagining some sort of like sea raider, pirate, dragonborn raider, Norse Viking, but good guy now. We'll go with I See It Coming. That one's not bad. Optional equipment. We'll click there. Okay. So the suggested is to use chainmail. I don't want to use chainmail. This is not popping. Can I armor? Maybe because I didn't import it or something. Is that what's happening? It's right here. I want Gambison. Oh, well, that works. I don't know if I'm doing that right, but it worked. So cool. Tier 2. It's a bug, but it works from the Compendium. Well, that's fine. For secondary weapons, let's pick a short sword. And we'll pick a long sword. Oh, why did I get rid of our secondary weapon? Interesting. But I'm a warrior. Shouldn't I be able to wield a secondary weapon? I thought I could. I thought I had many hands as a warrior. Yeah, but warriors can wield lots of stuff. I'll take a health potion and a sharpening stone. Finish character sheet. Right, but combat training. I ignore burden when equipping weapons. So that is a warrior ability. I have combat training. Warriors ignore burden when equipping weapons. But the class was not applied yet. Okay. So now, okay, that's a little bit of a wonkiness, but I totally get it. So what that means now is I got to go to my inventory, and now I can add a short sword, and I should be able to equip both. And I can. Sick. All right, cool. Got it. Cool. And then I got to equip my armor. Boom. Look at that. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, this looks good here. I'm a big fan of this. So you can see here, so this is the Seaborn's community card, and their feature is Know the Tide. It says, you can sense the ebb and flow of life. When you roll with fear, place a token on your community card. You can hold a number of tokens equal to your level, 1. Before you make an action roll, you can spend any number of these tokens to get +1 bonus to the roll for each token spent. At the end of the session, clear all these unspent tokens. So, I mean, again, if we were playing in person, you would have your Seaborn community card in front of you, and you do have to remember that when you roll with fear, you take a token and you put it on your Seaborn community card. To manage this in the VTT, it works basically the same. You just have to have your Seaborn community card, and when you roll with fear, increase that. But, it's a little bit more fiddly when you're doing it in a VTT. So it's not the end of the world, but it's one of those things where it's like, I want to be able to figure that out. And have a best way to approach that. We got our hope tracker. Cool. We can take a short rest. We can take a long rest. We have our proficiency. I mean, yeah. Oh, to be clear, in person, we would be manually applying these resources, and I think that's totally fine. In fact, one of the reasons I like playing in person is I like that manualness of applying that. I'm simply saying that, what's an easy way for us to get, create that and do that, whether maybe it's a macro or something like that. And now we have Vosh. There we go. There's Vosh. Vosh the Raider. Yeah, we saw that you can add custom. So here, this is with, and by the way, I do have a gridded system on. So let's change this. Turn off the grid. Okay. All right. What happened to Vosh? Unfortunately, we need like a. I need art. I need like a dragon-born sailor. All right. Okay. User data. What is going on? I don't think he can be Karzug. There we go. All right. Just so we can have something different to let's actually change it. Okay, there we go. All right. So now we can see, like, if you really want to use that type of thing, you can see, okay, you can move, on your turn, you can move within close, So, like, if I wanted to move up to this monster, if I want to move over here, that's a close. But if I want to move over here, that's a far, and that's going to potentially require a check. If you care about the specifics of that type of thing, which I think is pretty cool. So if let's see what the ruler implementation is. Interesting. I don't know why I keep spinning my guy. I didn't think I was turning him, but apparently I was. All right, let's take a look at the ruler. So there we go. You know, if we want to see how far away someone is, okay, they're close by. That's neat. You know, far. You know, I mean, I probably wouldn't use a ruler in real Torchbearer, like in person, I mean. But this is simple enough, and I could play gridless. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I think they have it set to
$25. Next, make a wizard and check out the Grimoire implementation.
All right, I'll make a wizard and check out the Grimoire. Apparently, it's a Foundry 13 setting with the rotation. Oh, okay. Well, so we could probably turn that off. All right, GM Scott, we'll make a wizard. Gabriel got how far is far? 60 feet, 30 feet? It is 60 feet. However, Gabriel, if we go in here and we go into one of these settings, look, we can change. We can change how far those settings are. So if you want far to be more than quote unquote Foundry 60 feet, we can change it right here, and we can change it up to 100 feet. And you know, if we want to, whatever our word of law is, we can make whatever we want. So there is that customization already. You can also turn that off, which I think is really neat. Thank you, Keith Orr.
Keith tipped $5. Dagger reaches. Let's go.
Sick. Thank you. Yeah, Dagger reaches. I don't know if we'll actually do that, but you know, why not? Hold on a second. I gotta drink my cold brew. Cold brew at 11 o'clock at night? Yeah, Derek, you're crazy. All right. Let's make a wizard. Did I skip anything else? All right. Items. We have stuff in Compendium, general. Card stacks, RIP. Macros, playlists, Compendium packs. Okay, so let's take a look at the wizard. So we're going to make a wizard. I'm going to name him Jacord Han Aziz. And he's going to be a wizard. So we're going to level him up. We are going to pick... Ooh, all right. What kind of wizard should we make? Let's make them a human. Because Jacord was a human. If you're like, who the hell is Jacord? Jacord was the example character from the AD&D 2nd edition character record sheets. Anyways, it was also the name of like my first character. Online. In Medivia, which was a text-based MUD. All right, next. Where is Jacord from? Jacord is from sort of an ancient city of in the desert. Class. They are a wizard. And then a subclass. You know we're going to go with the School of Knowledge. I see no reason not to use their traits, so we'll use those default options. Great. Experiences. Associate Deputy Vizier of Public Relations. And and then for our other experience, we'll put we need something that we could potentially use in a combat scenario. Okay, here we go. Former junior advocate for crowd control and peasant remediation. All right. Sorry, just me having fun. All right, so domains. Okay, so we get choices from Codex and Splendor. So let's take a look at the Book of Iliad and the Book of Typhar and the Book of Ava. And let's take a look at... I really like the Book of Iliad, so we're going to take the Book of Iliad. And then we'll also take Mending Touch. Mending Touch. There we go. And then Leather Armor works for me. Staff works for me. We'll take a Stamina Potion, and we'll take a tiny Elemental Pet. And we will finish the character setup. We, of course, need some art. Who do we got here? Anybody? Anybody? It's just some random NPC from the Abomination Vault. It's the... Okay, all right, let's test your guys' Pathfinder 2 knowledge. What is this cut-off piece of art? Which character is this from the Abomination Vault? Do you know? We have our strange patterns. Sorry. Yes, it is the Werewolf Man from level 4. Shout out to you. So now that we are, because again, now that we have our now that we have our, I wanted to see. So now that we have our knowledge domain, we are prepared. Take an additional domain card of your level or lower from a domain you have access to. Sure. What do we do here? How do we do that? Do we have to go into the vault to do this? Do I have to do that? Apparently so. Okay, cool. Well, let me add this. No. Book of Typhar? Will let me do that? It will let me do that. Okay. So we can just do that as many as we want. And then, oh, look at that. We can send it to the vault. Ooh. Hold on a second. I'm going to delete this one because we don't actually technically have that one. This is really, really cool. So, I can hit this. Okay, got it. Yep, cool. Browse item, create item, cool. So, cool. All right, so Jacordanas who is actually secretly the werewolf guy. I want to cast a spell from Book of Ava. I click on it. Look at that. It comes up with what I want to cast. That's cool. Look at that. Look at the cool option for Mending Touch. Look at the option for Book of Iliad and the Book of Ava. That is really cool. That looks neat. Very sweet. Can someone tell me if it's a Foundry change that they put this stuff over here instead of up here? Is that like a change I can make? Very cool. That is a Foundry change from 12 to 13. Okay. Yeah. All right. Shout out Foundry devs. That's terrible. I hate it. I figured it was a V13 change. No setting for it. Oh my God. That's terrible. That needs to be a cross. But I don't like it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff for V13, but I haven't actually really played around with it yet, and I don't know that I love this. Or at the very least, I don't know why it's an option that I can't make it go across. Mostly just because I don't really see what this gives me, rather than something that is just straight across. But anyways, as someone who's probably spent the most money on Foundry, no, I'm just kidding. Anyways, that is really cool. And also, like we were saying too, if I go to my character sheet, and I click on this, and I send the whole thing to the thing, I can do it right from here. Yeah, I'm assuming it's because it was, it would come all the way out over to here or something like that, or you'd have to make it be 2 rows or something like that because there's just too many things. But I don't know. It's just a change, and I don't like change. So this is cool. We can change it. By the way, look, we can change any. We can put any value we want for the hope die. We can put any value we want for the fear die. We can mark our. And when we do that, notice it pops up this cost bar, which tells us this is going to cost hope. It tells us that we are at 1 of 2. It's going to cost us 1 of our 2, or we're going to be at 1 of 2 afterwards, rather, I should say. Or it's going to cost us 1 of our 2 hopes. But this isn't here until we mark experiences, which is really cool. It's building our formula here. D12 plus D12 plus 2, because it is using our spellcasting stat. If we say that, well, we're making a sleep roll and we're trying to put them together, and I did this a lot when I was the former junior advocate for crowd control and peasant remediation. Naturally, we had to do a lot of that as well. So I'm going to click on that, and now we can see it's a D12 plus D12 plus 2 plus 2, which is really, 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 really cool. And there we go. And then we saw that the hope, I lost a point of hope. Not only that, I got a critical hit. I rolled double 12s, baby. Now that brings us to the real question, right? Which I'm sure is what people really want to know is, let's turn on Dice So Nice. I did see something for the rally die as well. All right, so I got to configure. It's been a while since I've done this. Configure settings. Dice So Nice. Okay, here we go. Now, here's the thing. So for me, digital dice aren't like the be all end all, but for some people, they are everything. And we can disable the automatic rotation in the core setting. Okay, cool. Maybe user interface? No, that's not a user interface. Prototype token overnoise? I can type just /dr. Oh, nice. So we can just type /dr if we just want to do a quick duality roll. Cool. Boom. Look at that. 13 with fear. Sweet. Look at that. 15 with hope. And again, I want to reiterate how good of a job those folks did over there at Mad Dragon at the dice. They look damn fine and look almost exactly the same. Look at that. Sick. I guess you need a token selected. Yeah, probably. All right, let's select our wizard, Jacord, and there we go. So by having a wizard selected, we now get access to his experiences as well. Yeah, again, shout out to the Mad Dragon team for these awesome high vis, massive, old people. It's like the large print version of a book. Extra size. You barely can see the side of the D12 because the fucking font is so huge. So shout out to them. Okay, well, I'm loving this. Oh, look at that. We have the verifier too. So Vin says, so far this is a solid 9 out of 10 module. Needs some tire kicking, more tire kicking, and I don't like the transparency on the character sheet. I don't know. I kind of like. I mean, I don't think the transparency really does anything to hinder it. And in fact, there's a weird thing that I actually have a problem with, which is now I don't have pop out installed right now, but I have a 3 monitor setup, but I can actually technically have a 4 monitor setup, but it's one of the things I don't like is that, like, when my sheet is up, I don't see what's going on, because I'm looking at my sheet, I can't be looking at anything else, but But Lollipop does bring up that transparency can be an accessibility issue as well. I don't know. I don't hate it. I mean, I could see it being a setting that maybe we could turn on or turn off. But, yeah. I like that we can just, edit our hit points here. Oh, no. Oh, no. So let's say we go to take a short rest, and we want to tend to our wounds, and we want to clear stress, and tend to wounds. Again, we have an option here. If we, maybe the GM said, this is a really nice, see, this is the little details. I know it seems annoying, but this is a little details. When we take a rest, the GM, we get D4 plus 1 of our hit points restored. But maybe the GM says that we're taking our short rest, at a small barracks in the middle of an ongoing siege, but it's night, for the first time in weeks, we have a little bed that we can rest in. And he's like, get an additional bonus, get an additional +1, or maybe we're in some sort of really nice, beautiful, druidic grove, right? So we can add +2, and now our formula is D4 plus 1 plus 2. We get bonus recovery to stress, and so we get 6 stress healed. And we can apply that, and we can apply that. And now we're all healed up. I think that's awesome. I think that's fantastic. This is really, really good. Yeah, pop out. You have to install pop out to do a different thing. Like if you go to here, manage modules. Pop out is right here. It's its own module that lets you do this. Okay. So far, I don't know. This seems pretty cool. You have not tested it with characters and sheets yet, though. Well, fuck it, we ball. Let's do it. All right, here's Vosh. Pop out cannot work within the standalone FVTT application. Please open your game from a regular browser. I don't know what that means. Apparently it means pop out doesn't work yet with the character sheets or something. I don't know. Or again, I could be doing it wrong. It's my own weird thing here. Because I'm using a local service. Pop out always has this. Got it. I'm on localhost. I got to log in with the browser. I don't really want to do that because I'm actually running it through an application. It's not actually a pop out, right? I'm on the client, right? Not a web browser, and I don't really feel like it. I need to be in Chrome or whatever like that. No, it's me. It's just because I'm not actually in a web browser. Pop out is designed to be used as a web browser. Right. I can't pop out of my own app. Okay, so we're good there. Never mind. That was Derek. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is version 1.0.0. And I mean, obviously, like, there's some stuff which is quote unquote annoying, which is just like, there's no art for anything. But I mean, that's part of the SRD, right? There's not even art, I think Vince says it well here, I mean, my major thing is, what the fuck does a Daggerheart module even need to do? Daggerheart doesn't have much going on in it, and this hits all those beats. The big hard part is the cards, so it'll come down to how well, they're done. And I kind of agree with that as well. So, for sure. Make a player, don't I? User management. Okay. And let me actually give control of Jacord to Derek. Okay. Okay, D-Hype. All right, Derek is logging in. All right, hold on a sec. I'm going to change the window over to Chrome. All right, so now we're in Chrome. And this is me. And I can see Fear is over here. And then this is my character. And now I can pop it out. So now, you know, you can see, let me actually do this. Boom. So here. Now this is my popped out character sheet. And so everything is right with the world. I can move around and have my character sheet popped out. This is my character. It looks like the transparency is gone, apparently. So I guess that's the thing. It also could be, I don't know, maybe it's something weird I have going on, but yeah. So that works out. We have our dedicated record 3 sayings or values and once per rest. When you describe how your embodied is, you can use a D20 as your hope die. So if I use this, and now it's a 0 out of 1. And now if I take a short rest, sure, I will prepare and clear stress. And that restored, which is cool. Okay. And I gain my hope. I don't think that's automatic, but like that. But also for the wizard, how do they handle? Oh, your comment star popped up. Sorry, buddy. Thank you. How do they handle the weird die roll thing? Strange patterns. Here we go. Choose a number between 1 and 12. When you roll that number on a duality die, you gain a hope or clear a stress. You can change this number anytime you take a stress. Or you take a long rest. Oh, cool. I could change it right here. So if I want it when I roll 12, nah, I want it when I roll a 1. I don't know. I want it when I roll a 3. We'll say a 3. So now I save it. And now whenever I roll a 3, supposedly. Oh, okay. Strange patterns is not automated yet. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to test it. But no, I mean, that's cool. And I don't have hope and fear automation turned on. No, I don't. I do not. The reason why that's not updating automatically is because I don't have hope and fear automation turned on, which I could turn on. I just have it off. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Right. And so then if I do roll a 3, I can just hit this. And like, let's say I was at 5 stress. I can just write here from my book, you know, clear stress from my strange patterns. I guess it says I have to roll. That's interesting, but I would probably just, I guess, tick it down. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, cool. Okay, so this works more like what I would expect it to. So like if Adept says, when you utilize experience, I can mark a stress instead of spending a hope. If I do, I double my experience points for that roll, which, by the way, another reason why I think School of Knowledge wizards are awesome. But you can see right here, it just pops up. It gives me an option to spend 1 stress, and I can just hit continue. It marks my stress up 1. It doesn't do anything, but then when I go to make a, say, knowledge roll, and I choose that I was the Associate Deputy Vizier of Public Relations, I can add an additional situation bonus of 2. And now I'm rolling 2d12 plus 6. Big rolls. Come on. 15 with fear. So Vin says, if I'm seeing this correctly, my main thing I'm noticing is that the players have to resize place the GM fear track individually. The GM doesn't get to set how they look to the players. Well, I think, Vin, if I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. If the GM changes it to hidden, I don't think the players get to see it at all. Maybe? I don't know. But I mean, I guess it comes down to you as a player. Like, where do you want the fear tracker? You know, do you want to pop it out? Do you want it over here? Do you want it right here? I think it's just so that you, as an individual can make a choice about where you want to track fear, which I kind of like, rather than the GM telling you where it needs to be on your HUD, right? Adarius. So the deal with Foundry, well, the Daggerheart system module is free. It's available through their Git repo, through Foundry, through Getborn. Secondly, is to have Foundry, you do have to buy a Foundry license. Now, granted, only the person running Foundry needs a Foundry license. So even if you have an entire group, as long as you're okay hosting the Foundry on your local machine, and if you have an even remotely decent PC, you should be able to do that. You can host it, and your players can play onto it, right? But and the Foundry license, it sometimes goes on sale. What's a Foundry license right now, folks? $35, $40, $50, Of course, Vin, you're such a video gamer. That's it. I miss stuff like the boss bar add-on. I mean, I like the boss bar add-on, but where I can make a huge, awesome boss bar per bottle appear, it's $50. Okay. It's 50. All right. I think when I bought mine, they were mostly 35, or maybe because I bought them in bulk or something. I don't remember. No, that's not true. I remember spending 50 for some of them because we bought them later. Yeah, I'm sure boss bar works. I'm just simply saying, he's saying he wants to be able to control how people see the fear. I don't know why he cares about that. That's like a very strange thing to care. Ignore him. Ignore him. What am I in here? Okay, this is the web browser. I'm looking at the player's version. Manage modules. I actually don't have boss bar installed on my local machine. Fuck that, Vin. You're not taking up my screen with your bar. You already get that. No, this is I mean, this is great. I mean, this is fantastic. I think it looks great. It looks good. I think the character sheet looks amazing, even with the stuff. Start an encounter. Okay, let me see here. What do we got here? We got our. Oh yeah, I forgot. We are in we're in the player mode here. By the way, this is the number one thing that I hate about about Foundry. I always turn off that horrible feature. The thing where you have like the little fucking dancing dots going everywhere. Anyways, that's just me. Okay, so let me re-invis that person. Okay, let me toggle the combat state. Okay. And okay, so if we go over to the combat thing, we can see that we've got one character, and apparently Vosh is an adversary. So we're the player, and so we are going to request the spotlight. Interesting. Now, if I look, this is the GM screen. This says give. Now, you can't see when I hover over it, it says give the spotlight. So I can now give the spotlight to my player. And, ooh, okay, sorry. I forget what I have visible and not have visible. There we go. So this is in combat. We got this thing up here, and we can click on this little encounter countdowns, and then we can add a countdown. And it can be a spotlight countdown. It can be a character attack countdown. It can be a custom countdown. So we can say like the dragon arrives. And we'll put it at 0 of 10. And whenever the spotlight shifts. Right? Cool. What does this do? Edit ownership. Okay, no. So, oh, I don't know what I did wrong there. Observer, save. Okay, so now I made Derek an observer. Cool. So if I cover this up, nope. There we go. Okay, so this is my player version. And you guys can't see this because it's not technically part of the window. It's like a pop out. Let me just grab it real quick so you guys can see it. So as a player, this is what I see. I see this: the dragon arrives in my countdown window, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, I guess I could do that. But either way, that's really cool. That's really neat. And then, oh, I'm playing in my. Don't know. Yeah, it was in a separate window because of the pop out. So that's really cool. What can we change this spinning D20 for the spotlight? It's about the least spotlighty thing I can imagine. Hopefully we can change that. Yeah. Okay, we can. Good. Okay. Oh yeah. I am logged in as both a player and a game master. Yeah. Now, of course, as with all things, I mean, just like when you're playing in person, right? You gotta make sure you set your stuff up right. It's not literally like for example, maybe you don't care that there's a spinning orange D20 for your spotlight icon, but I would want some sort of like cool little kind of maybe orange or yellowish kind of like spinning spotlight icon or something like that. Depending on what we were doing and how we were doing it. But yeah. All right. Sick. All right. Yeah, that's really cool. Someone said make a druid. All right, let me make a druid. Alrighty. Okay. We're going to create an actor. We're going to make a druid. The druid is going to be named... Kyojin confirming that the custom one is awesome. Already changed it myself. Fantastic. We're going to name it... we're going to name him Bog Hopper. And we're going to level them up. And their ancestry is going to be a ribbit, of course. And the community is going to be, they are from the wilds. And their class is Druid. And their subclass is Warden of Renewal. We'll just use the defaults. I don't know what I clicked there. Apparently I did something wrong. I must have clicked out of them. Must have clicked out of that or something. I guess I have to do that again. Maybe I don't, but I'm just doing it because it's faster for me. Renewal. Use next. And ASDF. ASDF. Okay, cool. All right. We'll take Vicious Entangle, and we'll take Nature's Tongue. We didn't take anything. All right, so Beast Form. Oh, all right, all right. This looks sick. Look at this. Oh man. Oh, that's really cool. That is very cool. That looks great. All right, let's see. We're going to turn into a pack predator. Continue. Phew, look at that. Our thing updated. We got a new base attack. We now have the Hobbling Strike and the pack hunting feature. That's pretty great. Very cool. Roll damage. Boom. 5 damage. Okay. This is a minor point. This is a minor point. I don't actually know what the language of Daggerheart is. I don't think this is right. So when you roll the damage, it says the hit point damage is 5. But that's not right. Because it's not doing 5 hit points of damage. It's just called 5 damage. And then you mark 1 hit point or you mark 2 hit points. And that's just a slight, minor, just a minor little thing there. Yeah, it's just 5 damage is the language. So like this saying hit points 5 is kind of confusing a little bit, quote unquote, wrong. Specifically. But let's apply it. So let's apply it to the bear. We got a target. There we go. Bloop. There we go. Now, it is weird. I myself have to kind of get used to it. It is weird in Daggerheart to think of like hit points going up as being like bad, right? So you're marking hit points. So I don't know if that should be like when the hit points go up, if it should be like red instead of blue, because it's like red is bad, red is damage, or something like that. Is stress damage called damage? No, I believe it's just called mark a stress. Captain, I'm going to completely agree with you. They should. I know. I like the system, but we are so used to it that it maybe should have been called wounds instead of hit points. We're just very used to this, and the idea that you're gaining wounds, I think, makes a lot more sense than you are gaining markings of hit points, right? Because like we think of gaining stress as a bad thing, and I think we can all understand that when we gain stress, that makes sense. And we think of gaining wounds as a bad thing. Gaining marked hit points doesn't really resonate with the way that the sort of lingua franca of RPGs is for this. And one of the things that I have written down in my list of when Derek rewrites Daggerheart, because he likes the game. I'm sorry. I even told Spencer Stark at Gen Con, I said, please don't be offended, because there's like a lot of things that I would change. And he goes, no, that's why we love your channel. That's why we love, what you guys do, because, everybody has different ideas about what they want. And I'm very bad at creating something. I'm just very good at shitting on what other people have created and being like, I would have done it differently. In any case, I would call them wounds, because if I said, hey, case in point, if I said, hey, you just took 7 damage, right? Mark 2 wounds or mark 3 wounds. I think that language makes more sense for me personally. Whereas like hit points don't even really, they don't really work in the fiction. I think injury is fine too, but I think wounds really, I think is probably the best place to it. And I know this because I have played board games where you sort of gain, damage instead of losing life. And I think gaining wounds makes more sense than gaining hit points, just because of the way that we think of these games. So yeah. Anyways, long story short, Druid looks great. So yeah, I mean maybe, but I mean hit points sounds like D&D, and that's, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is, but I think for me personally, gaining wounds makes more sense. Could you show leveling up to 2? Sure. Let's level up our boy. Let me get out of this combat. End the encounter. All right, so let's look at our boy Jacord. We're gonna level him up to 2, and then we get this little arrow because we do have the auto level up. All right, sick. Okay, so we're definitely gonna bump our primary stat. What else do I want? Well, I'm a knowledge wizard actually, and I really get some good value out of having good experiences. Man, leveling up is going to be so hard in this game. I want all of these things. I want hit points. I want stress slots. I think experiences are great, especially when you're a knowledge wizard. Who doesn't want an additional domain card? I mean, that's just sick. Man. I'm going to have to go with an additional domain card. I mean, that's just going to be what it is. And we get a new experience because we're going to tier 2, right? I think. So let's put it to knowledge. And, agility. And our new knowledge is now we're just fighting a bunch of bears, all right? Experience. If a tree falls in the middle of the forest. All right, that's our new experience. And then we get a codex. Oh, look at that. Oh man. How do you pick? It's so tough. This is great. I really like, which one is it? Is it I can never remember if it's Citadel or Vagris. No, it must be Citadel. Yeah, I love Citadel. It's the illusion one. So we'll go with the Book of Citadel, and we'll go with the Book of Vagris. And then this is look at this cool little summary. Look at this. This is great. So it shows us that our proficiency, we're going up to level 2, but we're also changing tiers. So our proficiencies is updating from 1 to 2. This is a great window. One of the things I complain about is that people don't know how the game works. They don't actually even know what changed when they leveled up. This is great because it shows you what happened. You saw that your proficiency went from 1 to 2. Your damage thresholds increased. We gained a new experience. We gained a new domain cards. Our traits increased. Finished the level up. And now we're level 2, and we got all this new stuff. That's awesome. Bloop, bloop. And look at that. Our level 2 knowledge wizard, yes, you can do this with level 2 knowledge wizard, is capable of filling up their loadout at level 2. So for all those you... My armor is not equipped. You're right. I don't think I actually even took armor. Did I take armor? I did take armor. Okay, there we go. Bloop. There we go. So now we have 815 as our severe, major and severe thresholds. There we go. One of the things I love about the Knowledge Wizard is that you can fill out your entire vault at level 2. And I think that's, your loadout at level 2, which is awesome. And in this case, by the way, my level 2 wizard has 1, 2, 3 spells from the Book of Iliad. They have 1, 2, 3, technically 4 if you use the ice spike to attack, not just use it as a thing. Spell. So we're at 6 spells. 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. And I chose to take a healing spell, but this could be the other book, right? It could have been the Let me get rid of this one here. Delete. Yes. I could have chosen the Book of Typhar. Right? And now at level 2, you have all 5 books, and you have 15 spells. Okay, you're like, and like wizards in D&D could never. I mean, this is sick. I mean, you don't need this much fucking customization and flexibility, but I mean, like, there's never been a wizard that this low level can have this many abilities. And again, your next ability is going in the vault because you just don't have it. I mean, I think wizards are so awesome. And if for whatever reason you decide you don't need 15 separate spells, then you can take stuff from the Splendor domain, and you know, you could take things like Healing Hands and Mending Touch and Reassurance and bolt beacons and stuff like that. So I like little details too. Like you have these arrows in your loadout, and you can just send stuff to the vault. And you can send it to the loadout. Now, it doesn't look like the recall costs are being applied. I don't know if that's because I have an automation off or if it's not doing that yet. But I like that I just have this option to just, swap them back and forth and swap them back and forth. And, of course, it's a standard, Foundry thing. I understand that. But if like, hey, somebody goes, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, I do have my Book of Ava. And somebody goes, what does that do again? And I go, yeah, cool. I'll just hit that, send it to the chat. And now anybody can see that Book of Ava is a Grimoire Codex. It has a recall cost of 2, and it does the 3 following abilities: push, Power Push, Tava's Armor, and Ice Spike, which can also be used as an attack. And people can just see that. I mean, this is the advantage that a VTT brings. And it's really nice that they have these little, I'll call them quality of life things, but it's fantastic. I mean, this is fun. And here are my experiences, including if a tree falls in the middle of the forest. By the way, one of my favorite things to do with experiences is self-referential experiences. This is true for, mostly because of 13th Age and my experience playing 13th Age. I didn't like that in 13th Age they were called backgrounds. And the reason why I didn't like it in 13th Age that they were called backgrounds is because in 13th Age, just like in Daggerheart, and they said, we were inspired by 13th Age. It's a really cool thing. It's a written statement, right, that you can then apply. Instead of a skill list, it's just write down your background. But the problem is when you gained levels, you gained new backgrounds. And it just didn't really make sense that your character would gain a new background while they were adventuring. And it's one of those things where language is really important. The word experience is awesome. And I personally feel like when a player gains an experience on a tier up, or if they take it as part of their advancement when they level up, the experience should be related to the things that you were just doing in that last level or that last tier. But what's great is that this experience that I added here, if a tree falls in the middle of the forest, ... might not make any sense to anybody else. But to your internally, into the logic of your group, it's sort of like an inside joke. Everyone will get what that means. It means that adventure where we got lost in the woods because the wizard thought he knew how to get us out of there, and we ended up getting stuck in the woods, and we ended up having to ask the druids for help, and then they told us that we needed to go find the talking bear, and then the talking bear was like giving us shit, and like all of this stuff means something to our group, and so it almost becomes kind of like this fun, little reminder of your past events. And so when you look back with like a high tier or an 8th or 9th or 10th level character, and you look back at your character and you see those experiences, in a way, it should almost be like a record of your character's adventures and or what really made an impact on them. But also too, it's like a fun reminder for you and your group. It's one of those little tiny textural things about Daggerheart that really resonate with me. Anyways, that's not about this. That's about Daggerheart. Great. Oh, also, notice I raised my agility from -1 to 0, and I raised my knowledge from 2 to 3, and you can see that they are marked, indicating I cannot raise them again in this tier, which is really, really cool. So let's see what happens if we go to level 3. Okay, I'm gonna take a bonus here, and I'm going to gain a hit point. We were at 5 before. Why is this giving me 2 options? Shouldn't it only be giving me 1? I mean, it's not giving me knowledge and agility in this drop down, which is good. It shouldn't. But why does it look like it's... Why does it look like it's asking me for 2? Oh, right. You get 2 for each tick. I'm an idiot. I forgot how the game works. Okay, perfect. Yeah. No. I remember now. Ooh, what do we take at level 3? Oh, don't we get Fireball? Yeah, Book of Norai. Yeah, that's what I thought. How do you not take this? I mean, is this not the... Well, and again, I love this summary. Look at this beautiful summary. It's so good. Boom, finish the level up. We now have 6 hit points. We now have Book of Norai. Get the fuck out of there, Book of Vargas. Get in there, Book of Norai. Book of Norai, I choose you. This is excellent. All right, let's level up. I don't care what size I cast Fireball. I mean, let me also point this out here about Fireball in this game. You can just cast it over and over and over and over again. Now, to be fair, Fireball does have a disadvantage in this game, which is obviously it can hit your allies, but I mean, Fireball could always do that. But you do have to cast it first, and then all the targets get to make a reaction roll. So you're kind of, you're kind of having to, unlike in D&D where you cast a Fireball and then everybody has to make a reaction roll, aka saving throw, and they either take full or half. The same thing is true with Fireball in this game, but you have to make that spell casting check first, which means, unlike in normal D&D, when you start to cast a Fireball, you might fail the roll with fear, and the GM might, take advantage of that. You might lose the spell because you're disrupted, or maybe the spell unleashes early in a blast of uncontrolled fire. I'm going to be very experimental with failed spellcasting rolls in my Daggerheart game, I promise you. The fear moves will be nasty and naughty, I promise you. Point blank Fireball, definitely a problem. Now I don't want to go like full DCC or Forbidden Lands where you roll low and a demon rips out of your chest. But the fact that I think there's a cool distinction in the game between spells that require a spellcast roll and spells that don't. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Jakori could totally spend his stress to get double his XP, experience to cast that Fireball. Yeah, I mean. When I'm playing an RPG as a GM, when I'm playing like PBTA, I don't want to go off into this whole tangent. Long story short, I get to play in a way that isn't cheating, and I love it. Yeah. Anyways, Fireball, great spell, unbelievable damage. But let's see what we can do here. I want to see. Oh, look at that, folks. We got the AoE. That's cool. And it's like, okay, cool. There we go. The old shuffle. Can I hit everybody? Can I hit everybody? Okay, these people. What is happening? Oh. Random. I'm sorry, this is like a total... I looked over, and this is the other major breakthrough that we had today. Or not the day. This week, after Gen Con. Okay. This is called a baby pin mount, or a baby plate. For those of you who don't know anything about grip, this is called a baby pin, and it is a standard receptacle for a lot of lights and lighting fixtures. Okay? Flashes, LEDs, the whole thing. And the idea of this mount is you mount this to a wall or a ceiling, giving you a permanent baby pin connector that you could mount lights and the like to. Okay, cool. And that's really good for, well, I don't have them, but they're lighting me right now. But when you think about like Amaran or Aperture or Profoto or Godox, right? Okay. But this is a LED Parcan, which used to be obviously made out of like real lights, but now they're just LEDs. So this is from Chauvet, and these are like DJ lighting. This is effects lighting. So this is a colored LED panel. Now the quality, the CRI of this light is much lower than you would get from a really high-end light. But this is what we use to add color to our sets. The problem is these DJ lightings don't use the kind of lighting adapters that they use. They use a yoke. And the idea of a yoke is this is like a 1/2 inch diameter hole. It's actually a metric 12 hole. And these are supposed to use these like little grip clamps that are supposed to clamp onto bars and like those DJ rigs. If you've ever been to a wedding or a bar mitzvah, you've seen them. They've got like the piping. It's like the little framework, and then they use these C clamps that clamp onto the framework and screw into this. So it's meant to use these clamps. So it basically, these things are not compatible. But I found these things on Amazon, and it is a screw. It's got a baby pin receiver that goes here, like normal baby pin receivers, and then that locks in, right? So that's not going anywhere. You can't even spin it. And then this bolt comes off, and then you can thread it through your receiver clamp here, and then it will screw on and tighten up once you get it screwed in. I can screw it in there. Right now it's weighing on it. There we go. And then there you go. You've got your thing mounted from the ceiling. So this little adapter is actually quite awesome for our purposes. And I didn't know these existed, but they do. and so now we got this really cool way that we can mount this plate to the ceiling, and then we can have our colored light shining, doing color effects and practical effects. Anyways, the stuff that I worry about. The adapter made me very happy. Okay, because I was like trying to figure out how the hell I was trying to figure out what the fuck we were gonna do. Anyways, so back to the screen. So I want to see, someone asked a great question, which is let's see. How does, we'll just make it easy. We'll go stress. What book, can I sort this? Hell yeah. Look at that. I can even sort that. That's awesome. Book of Exodia, Book of Grin. Book of Grin's good. We'll take Book of Grin. No. Ooh, wait, but Divination's really good. All right, I'll take Divination. We got enough spells. Oh, man, leveling up in this game is going to be so hard. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to level 5. So now we get to see how subclasses work. So now we're in tier 3. We get 2 advancements, and we can choose to multi-class, which is what we are going to choose to do. We also get a new experience. What happened to us in tier 2? Presumably we're multi-classing. What are we going to multi-class into? Druid, right? You've got a friend in me. I don't know what that means, but that's our experience. And then we multi-class. Okay, so we're going to add Druid, and we have to add we got to pick our subclass. We'll pick Warden of Renewal. Oh, and we have to pick a domain, right? You only get one domain, so we're going to add the Sage domain. Look at that. Sage, Warden of Renewal, sick. And now when we pick our domain card, look at that. We got the half level. No, it's showing all the levels. I mean, I'm not allowed to take these, but they're showing them. But I mean, I guess we have to. I mean, is that automated? Is that a failure? Not really. But, technically I can only take domain cards of half my level rounded up. And I'm level 5, so I can take up to level 3 domain cards, I think. But we'll take Towering Stalk. That one's cool. There we go. We multi-classed into Druid with the Sage domain, the Warden of Domain. And this subclass does not belong to your selected multi-class. Yes, it does. Uh-oh, I didn't like what I picked. Why? Why did now it gave me? You can see, by the way, we do have. Okay. I think I found a bug. This gave me the hope feature, and I should not have the hope feature. The Multiclass does not give you the hope feature. It gives you the class feature, but it does not give you the hope feature. So, just saying. So that is a bug. But it worked, fundamentally, because, look, we can... Oh, I don't have enough stress. Or hope? What do I need for this? I have insufficient resources. What does it think I need to do this? Hope? For some odd reason, it thinks I need... Oh, because I'm clicking... Oh, I was clicking evolution hope. I'm dumb. Okay. Right, because there's two ways you can transform into beast form, right? You can transform via hope, and you can transform via stress. Technically, the multi-class druid does not get the evolution ability. They just get the standard beast form ability. But look at that. Boom, there we go. Now, of course, remember, we are a level... we're tier 3, and of course, that means that we can immediately become, you know, a broken-ass predator. because we're because that's how that game works. But yeah, like, there we go. Got the beast attack. There we go. Ooh, big roll. And 3d12 plus 8. Ooh. And again, see, this is, again, I was like, oh, hit points, 34. Well, no, it's not technically 34. It's not 34 hit points, but yeah, let's try shifting again. Tier 3 legendary hybrid. Look at that. Look at this interface. Drag stuff from tier 2 so we can be an armored sentry and a pouncing predator. What are we? Snapping turtle. I am the deadly snapping turtle. Anyways, and then I got to pick my advantages. Okay, armored shell, turtle, takedown, and attack. Why won't it let me take? Choose a total of 4 advantages and 2 features. Didn't I do it? Oh, I need 4 advantages. Shit. All right. Armadillo and climb. There we go. And there we go. We are now snapping turtle. Can anybody name the model? Can anyone name the movie that I'm quoting by just going snapping turtle? No. What if I go? Well, I'll give somebody like 5 seconds. And then I just got idiot proofed. Yeah. Tim in chat, baby. Tim in chat. Tim Carpenter, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only. Secret of the Ooze, baby. Even naming it. We got some TMNT 2 fans. Oh, you know what? This is why I fucking love everyone here. You know, this is like, you know, people go to Gen Con and they're like, oh, it's so cool to be surrounded by so many people that are nerdy and just like so referential like me. And I'm like, I got my chat. I've got my channel. Like, it's so nice for people to just be able to go snapping turtle, and people go, oh yeah, that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, motherfucking Secret of the Ooze. Oh, ninja, rap, ninja, go ninja, go ninja. When I was a kid, that movie. Now as an adult, obviously, I think the first one's better, but as a kid, a young teen, maybe I was like 11 or something, 10. I don't even know how old I was. That movie was awesome. The second one. And then, you know, that was famous. You know, Toka, Razor, they're babies. They're babies. Mama. All right, anyways. No, the first one's great. Yo, it's a green machine. They're gonna rock the town without being seen. Iceman. Okay, sorry. Vanilla Ice. That movie's so dated. I love it. It's all New Jack Swing. Okay, sorry. Welcome to Tonight's Last Call, everybody. Well, that worked out really, really well. And it's interesting. It doesn't know what to display now for my subclass because I have 2 subclasses, so it's like, I don't know what to do. Oh, interesting. It did yell at me about picking a subclass, right? Didn't it say it was mad at me for taking a subclass? Wait. Yeah, it didn't like that I picked a subclass. Or it didn't like the subclass that I picked. Can I change this? How do I change this? I want to pick one, but it won't let me. How do I do this? Because like when I tried to pick it through leveling up, it like yelled at me. I'm gonna sneeze all day. Okay. The wrench. Oh, look at that. We can just change. We can just put whatever we want. This is sick. We can just override everything and just say, okay, you know what? Derek came up with some bullshit, and now, my stress is 7, or my stress is 8, or my stress is 10. I mean, I didn't even see that, but that's cool. This is the kind of stuff I love, because as a GM, I fuck with this stuff all the time, and not arbitrarily. For me, it's a fiction first thing. I don't care what the game mechanics say. We were playing the game, and you got struck with the curse of ancient years, and now, you're taking a hit point penalty, or you're taking a stress penalty, or whatever, and maybe it's permanent, it's semi-permanent. Either way, I want you to be able to change that and reflect that on your character sheet. And in person, I would do that no problems. Diegetic homebrew. Yeah, well, no, it's fiction first. It's the fiction leading to the mechanics, not the other way around. I still want to know how... Oh, cool, I can disable these effects too. I still want to know why it didn't like my level up, and now it's like telling me I don't have a... Can somebody tell me what I did wrong? Drag from there to the sheet. Okay. Okay. Apparently, that is all I had to do. I guess that's a new setting in Foundry version 13 Platinus. I guess you can turn it off. So I was also not a big fan, and apparently you could turn it off. Okay. Apparently, whatever reason, it just didn't like what I did, and so now I dragged it over. And now look at this. I now have Clarity of Nature, and I have Regeneration. Man, Druid multiclassing is so powerful. Yes, this is live now, as of this evening. Gosu Bliko. I recommend checking it out, and I recommend supporting the Foundryborne community as much as I can, or as much as you can. Are the traits and evasion increasing with the beast form? That's a great question. I don't know. Apparently, yes, it overrides. So, like, if I go to make a beast attack, this is using my, I think, agility. And you can see that my agility is a 0, but the default roll is +2 because my agility is +2, basically. What I don't see here is my beast has the experience of attack, and which is also stupid. And I mean, sorry, Spencer, but you made beast form way too powerful, but also really boring. My beast form has the experience of attack, and I don't see that here in my experiences. And of course, remember, you get to apply it for free, so, or it gives me advantage for free. But I don't see I mean, that, I'm sorry, not experience. I mean advantage, but I don't see that as like an option. So like, I'm not saying like, oh, it's terrible that I have to remember. Oh no, okay, it's there. It says it's there. It just says turtle, armadillo, attack, climb. Okay, all right, I stand corrected. It's there. So there we go. It's not like quite as like whatever as I in your face as you want, but yeah, but it's there. God, so. Man, my agility goes from 0 to 2. I get an additional D6 with my roll. We get to roll this. So it's D6 plus D6, 2D12, duality roll plus D6 plus 2. Man. And I rolled terribly. But with hope. Oh, that's great. No, this is fantastic. And Omniscitode, I think a lot of people, myself included, were very hesitant to want to try to talk about how we would run Daggerheart online until Foundry came out with a module. So try changing one of the die rolls. Just cheating? All right, cool. So Captain Cosmo wants me to try changing one of the duality rolls or re-rolling a die. All right, so we got... is it too late to re-roll this? I want to re-roll this too. 3. But look, it even updates the little equation in the box. And there's a little symbol. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's probably really hard to see on the screen, so I'm going to zoom it in here a lot. There's a little icon over the hope die, right? When you open up the formula. By default, you don't see this. You just see what you rolled. But if you open up the formula, you see this... oh, nice. I triggered my wizard. Thank you. I did. You could see that, look, it says this dice has been re-rolled one time. And it also shows you when you hover over it, it says this dice has been re-rolled. So that's pretty sick. Now, okay. Oh, look at that. It updated it to fear. That's cool. That's a nice, that's nice. I also noticed now, by the way, it changes the entire color of the box of the formula when you roll with fear versus rolling with hope. That's pretty nifty. Make a new roll and change the dice in the pop-up. Okay, okay. I will attack again with my beast attack. Maybe I don't know what Captain Cosmo's talking about. Make a new roll and change dice in the pop-up. Oh, I see what you're saying. We're past function. So I could change this, like, for example, maybe I'm rolling a d20 with hope. And I still got my advantage. There we go. I'm rolling that one. Well, times are tough. So there we go. I'm going to re-roll this. There we go. Yeah, 32 with hope. Oh, I gotta resume this here real quick. I was like, there we go. So that's pretty cool. Try doing a mixed ancestry next. Okay, so let's go make a new character. It's hard not to feel off, if you were a halfling, that wouldn't even be cheating. It's hard not to feel awesome in this game, to be fair. So, picking one for Wizard Strange Patterns is awesome. I know I'm weird and would be overpowered, and I would just try to figure out a way that you could change it. But I think it'd be cool if the Wizard Strange Patterns applied to other people as well. And I'm thinking about a house rule where if they roll your strange pattern as a crit, right? Not just roll it, but if they roll it as a crit, that you get it counts as one use of your strange patterns, right? If you roll your crit and your number, you get 2 uses of your strange patterns. But if they roll as a crit, they strange patterns. Because I really want that. I want it to feel like you're like, yes, we are all connected. I knew it. The number 3. Boothby says, last week we played 4 players, 3 hours, no hope rolled. We did not feel awesome. So I'm just going to make a guess that in 3 hours, that you made somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's just say casually 6 rolls per hour. Okay. So that means you made 18 rolls, and that's a very low number, I believe. Your chances of not rolling hope are basically about 0.45 per roll. So your chances of not rolling hope 18 times in a row, I think, are like smaller than the ratio of like an Earth, like a person to like an atom. Your chances of that happening are like 0.00. Oh wait, I got to multiply it by 100. There we go. So it's a percentage. It's 0.00057%. So I don't know that no one rolled hope. That seems it literally seems impossible statistically. That's like one of those like the heat death of the universe would occur, before that would occur. Not literally, but I think the Earth has a greater chance of being struck by an asteroid every year than that. But maybe it happened. I don't know. One of the laws of statistics is something that can't happen will happen at some point. Oh, you did not make that many rolls. Okay, well then that's fine. You really weren't making a roll every 10 minutes? I mean, I would assume that even one combat would generate at least 8 rolls. Right? Okay. What was I doing? Oh, making a new character. New ancestry. Okay, create an actor. We'll just give them a fake name right now. Let's level them up. Okay. So we are going to pick mixed ancestry. Ooh. So we get to pick two things. Well, if it's FBT, then you didn't roll fear either. So saying you didn't roll hope is a little bit of a it's kind of a misleading thing, because then you didn't roll anything. An elf dwarf? How dare you? How dare you? I'm going to make what we were describing before, right? Which was the dwarf giant, right? We're going to make the mole. This was going to be Bob didn't know this. So we can either pick thick skin and reach, right? Or it should let us pick why won't it let me switch this? Oh, it's whichever one's first. Got it. Right, we want to switch this. It's whichever's first, right? So we're going to actually be, instead of a dwarf giant, we're going to be a giant mixed ancestry dwarf. There we go. So now we got endurance. We get an additional hit point slot, and we have increased fortitude, which lets us have damage. Okay. Yeah, I think a toggle to swap this would be pretty good. And then we can rename this to Mull. And then next. And then next. And then our community, well, we were probably we need like a captive born or a slave born, technically arena born, right? Most mulls were raised to be fighters, in the arena, or slaves of labor, or maybe bridge crews if they were from Roshar. But we'll say that they were, I don't know, order born. It shows a military unit. That's close enough. And then we will be a guardian. There is a desert one from the board. And then for our guardian, we are going to be, I'm realizing too, Foundryborne people, when you pick a subclass, it would kind of be useful if it didn't show you the subclasses that weren't, not for your class. I think. So I'm going to be a vengeance guardian. I know that vengeance is one of the guardians. So all right. They say they're working on that. All right. Again, not a critical. That's I'm not criticizing that. That's totally reasonable. What do we got here? Agility, strength, finesse. Ooh, I like the presence +1. Yeah, I'm going to use the default stats. Cool. All right. Experiences. Born and raised in blood. And, quilting. That's right. All right. Those are my experiences. And then domains, we're going to take bare bones, because fuck yeah. And we're going to take, whirlwind is still really good to get, but I'm going to take I am your shield. We're going to be the guardian's guardian. Boom. There we go. And there we go. I mean, that's how fast it is to make that's how fast it is to make a Daggerheart character, guys. I mean, it's crazy. You know? I mean, you can get into obviously like the details of it, but I mean, like, you know, what does what, but you know, boom, we're done. That's it. I mean, we do have to pick weapons and armor. I did forget armor and equipment. I did forget equipment. So my bad. But easy enough. I do remember when I scoffed that Daggerheart takes 50. Now, to be fair, you know, I have the advantage that I know what this stuff do. You know, I have the advantage that I know what this stuff does, and I don't need to like sweat over what these things do. But, you know, if you're one of those people who like doesn't worry about what your, you know, what your specific thing does until, you know, you get it, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see here, tier 1. What do we want to go with here? What's a good? That's two-handed, right? Yeah. Cutlass, no. Mace. I don't mind a mace. Nah, I don't like the mace. We'll go with no. We'll go with I want a shield, I think. This doesn't matter at all. I know. All right, we'll go with a mace. And then we'll get a shield. Yeah. Tower shield, baby. And then for armor, we got bare bones, so we actually don't want armor. Now, okay. So we have bare bones. So let's see how this works. Right? Because we have bare bones in our loadout. And that should give us armor. So, hey, look at that. It's just an armor. Cool. That's cool. Yep. And this should give us 1020. Yep, 1020. Perfect. This is awesome. Holy shit. I love it. I mean, this guy needs a cool name. Valrak. Or no. Thorak. There we go. Thorak, the mole. This looks great. I mean, again, there's a couple little minor things that we found and some minor bugs that we, you know, came across, but this guy's a beast. 1020 with 7 armor slots and 8 hit points. Oh my God. What a crusher. Not to mention frontline tank plus unstoppable. Note, this needs to be manually implemented. Unstoppable die feature is not implemented as of this time. Which is fine, you know. Again, people are like, oh, I'm like, well, in real life, there's no automation for unstoppable either. But yeah, this is good. Perfect. Tanky boy indeed. This looks fantastic. You know, and by the way, not to mention that we can, with I Am Your Shield, right? We can at will. Why is this not showing me? Yeah, when an ally within very close range, you would take damage. Mark a stress and make yourself the target of attack, and you can mark any number of armor slots. So we're a tanky boy and literally a tanky boy. This is really great. And more importantly, uses Foundry, which means you get all the advantage of all the cool Foundry modules. It means you have to buy it once, and then it works. And yeah, I agree. Someone want to know how armor tanking works. Let's figure that out here. So let's have our bear come over here and target our. Oh nope, that's the bear. Oh, I never created Thorak. Who's Thorak going to be now? Thorak is going to be a dwarf outcast. There we go. All right, welcome Thorak to the battlefield. All right, so man, who at Foundry thought that spinning the character around was awesome? I don't know who that was, but all right. So the Cave Ogre is going to smash our boy. Okay, well, our guy does not have a thing, so he got a hit. Cool. So he's going to roll the damage, which is a whopping 7. So Thorak is hit, so it's going to deal the damage, and there we go. So armor marks. We can use 1, and that's going to reduce the damage from minor to none, and that's how we do it. Oh, he does do direct damage with Bonebreaker, doesn't he? Never mind, get fucked. But let's assume that he didn't. So I'll just reduce that, and instead of gaining a hit point, he loses an armor. But also, too, remember, that's one of those weird things, too, where armor +1 feels weird when you're taking damage to your armor. But if we look here, the armor has been used up by 1. All right, configure settings, core, automatic token rotation, 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 off. Sick. Yes. Thank you, Lollipop. All right, let's see what happens if the bear attacks our mage. All right. Claws coming in hot. Oh, it's a hit. Roll damage. D8 +3. It's 10 damage. Vosh is hit. We're going to deal the damage to Vosh. Vosh is taking major damage because 10 is over their threshold. Not all the way, but it's pretty bad. And then they can use an armor and reduce it to minor, or they can take major. So they'll use an armor, they'll take minor. So those kind of overstacked a little bit, but either way, when we look at Vosh, Vosh now has 1 hit point marked and 1 armor slot marked. Very cool. Seldon, what do you mean by more like Dungeon World? Mark Clore asks, is there a reason not to use armor in Daggerheart? Well, Mark Clore, a better question should be, is there a reason not to use armor in D&D? And generally, the answer is no. Like, in fact, in Pathfinder 2, you should wear the best armor you need in order to, use it. I mean, Mark Clore, it would be very weird to be in a situation where you could imagine someone wearing armor and not being incentivized to mark the armor. Right? I mean, yes, it is an option. And I mean, there might be, a little bit of a meta where you're like, oh, do this or do that. But like, for the most part, I think it's probably fictionally appropriate that you should almost always be marking your armor whenever you can, because you get it back, and it really kind of makes sense that you would use your armor, I suppose that's kind of what I'm kind of going for here. What I'm trying to say is, there are certain decision points that I don't really want to be analysis paralysis decision points. And one of them is trying to weigh the pros and consequences about whether or not you should use, whether you should use it or not, So, all right. Death move. All right, let's go here. Boom. Oh no. Vosh is getting taken down. The ogre is just smashing him into pieces. Look how tanky our Seaborn warrior is. Oh no. All right, so they are at 6 of 6 hit points. So what happens? We click on this. It was just my intuition. I have no idea this. We take the death move. We're going to risk it all, naturally. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Why didn't it roll? What happened? Did I do something wrong? Oh, maybe I didn't click it. Select move. Do I have to just roll? Oh, I have to. Oh, it's manual. Okay. All right, here we go. DR. Oh, I brought up the freaking thing. Is it DR? Duality roll? Okay, here we go. Straight up. Critical! Fuck yeah. All the way back, baby. It's a shame that I wasted the good surprise on me, because I'm going to be honest with you, there are going to be some legendary moments in your Daggerheart campaign. But the first time that somebody risks it all in a major boss fight and they get a critical on their avoid death roll and they come all the way back, that is going to be, I mean, if you're playing in person, and I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, some people, I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people have not experienced this. If you don't get your players jumping to their feet and just high-fiving each other and like screaming in the GM's face like, fuck you, motherfucker, or the GM's like, no, fuck me, I got completely. If you're not in that moment, if you have not experienced that, I'm going to tell you something. There's a very good chance that Daggerheart will give you that experience. And keep in mind this, there's a 1 in 12 chance every time you make that avoid death roll, that could be the crit. And I think Daggerheart has the potential between the tag team moves, the death moves, the crit, to really sell you on those epic moments. But yeah, that was awesome. By the way, just as a side note, I think we rolled double threes. And I think Jacord's. Now, granted, remember, like I said, in my game, yeah. So in my game, you only get it in your game. In the standard Daggerheart game, the wizard only cares it when they roll it. But in my game, I was like, if somebody rolls a crit and it's the wizard's strange numbers, I'm inclined to give it to them. And so the wizard would be like, my strange patterns are 3. I predicted this. Little did you. And I'd be like, yes, you do. I'd be like, I don't get all your hope. That was awesome. You knew this was coming. You saw the pattern. You predicted the future. I mean, it would be such a fun moment. It would be cool. Yeah. I mean, cool. I mean, we're having fun. We're playing with the game. It's, do I want to play in person with these beautiful, cool duality dice that were made for us from Mad Dragon? Absolutely. Am I going to? Of course. But is this system giving me the confidence to potentially think about something like a Dagger Reaches, right? And creating some sort of community game and allowing people to play together and supporting it on our channel and our community Discord? Yeah, I mean, this is great. And this is version 1.0.0. So we've already established, I think the devs have already made several bug fixes while we've been in this stream. I'm going to give this like a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, I think this is doing everything that I wanted. I'm trying to think if it's like critically missing anything that I really, really expected it to be there. Obviously, I want there to be a certain level of automation, or if not even automation, just visual reminders, because I don't expect everything to be automated. But I do think that one of the disadvantages sometimes of playing on a VTT is that stuff can get buried. And that's true in real life too, right? Stuff can get buried on your sheet and you might forget about a feat or a bonus that you have. But I think one of the cool things about playing in person with Daggerheart is that you have these cool, cards, like these cool special wild cards that they gave out at Gen Con. Shout out to Spencer. Shout out to Darcy. But I think they make them a little bit more fun. So, all right, Captain. Well, great job to you and your team, and congrats. I think it's really, really great, and I look forward to continuing to support you guys and support you guys. And again, I really recommend that you guys put together a Patreon. I think you guys will get a lot of support, or at least some sort of coffee link or something like that, so that people can throw you a couple bucks for saying thank you for working on this. And I know the next couple of days, weeks, and months are going to be kind of chaotic and hectic for you. So, well, take a well-earned rest, my friend. That's really good. Oh, that's cool. The fear gets more purple as it goes on often. Yeah, I mean, this is great. This looks like it would be a lot of fun, and I mean, I think, yeah. I myself am kind of looking forward to this. There we go. I moved my people off the screen, but and now we're in the dungeon. So yeah, shout out to the Foundryborne development team for their Daggerheart module. I mean, this looks great. I had fun making my characters, and again, everything is in here in the compendium that's in the SRD. It's one of the beautiful things about playing an SRD. I'm a lazy person. All right, there are games out there like Legend of the Five Rings, which has a Foundry module, but there is no SRD for the Legend of the Five Rings, which means that every single power, every single ability, every single school, every single clan, everything that you want to do in this game, you have to manually add to the game. And it does nothing, and there's no integration. It's just a text box. And yes, we can play that way. But I'm lazy, and I don't want to do that. So I don't. Also, this game, I have a house rule for the way that the dice roller works. But the Foundry module for this game is locked in place. It gives you no flexibility. It works the way it works, and that's it. End of story. And there's no other choice. That's the only choice that you have. So it limits my ability to want to play Legend of the Five Rings online. Now, I could play an Owlbear Rodeo, or I could play in, whatever, Alchemy. But I like, if I'm going to play in a VTT, I want people to be able to see things, and I want to be able to people to interact with things. And I think the visual importance of things is underrated. I know I'm speaking for me, but I don't like character sheets in a spreadsheet. Like, they work, they're functional, but there's just, it looks too cold, and it looks too mechanical, I like a good looking character sheet. I like that, we got this cool character sheet with this, little borders and fonts, and, there's the little icons. And I think adding those little visual cues is really cool. And I think it increases the experience. Again, I appreciate the aesthetic element to RPGs, and not just the art, but the aesthetic element as well. And I think that's a really, really cool, important part for me to the playing of the game. So there's a reason why when we play, we like to use tokens and stuff like that. But this is a fantastic 1.0 release. I mean, this is way more than I was expecting. And I do think the small things help to set the mood and the atmosphere. I mean, if you see my Torchbearer games, you know that I put in a lot of work and effort just to sell people on different elements of the game, because it's important to me. But this, again, I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10. There's a couple of things that I think it's not that it's a problem that they're automated. It's just that, how do we track that in a more less cumbersome way? Like the Seaborn ability. Like, how do we get to the point where we can easily track that? And it's kind of not in our face, but it's something convenient that we can quickly bring up, and that it's easy for us to, we roll the fear marker tick. We roll the fear marker tick, So, yeah, I mean, this literally released 5 hours ago. So, and yes, I would personally rather play in person, but there's a lot of really cool people that I've had the opportunity to play with because of virtual tabletops. There's people who get to play in my games because they live on the other side of the country, which is really awesome. I mean, one of our coolest games ever was our holiday special game, in which we were playing with people from right here in Cleveland, Ohio, people from Texas, people from Arizona, people from Australia, we were playing with people from all over the world. And that's really fun. And you can never do that in person, For Vin, it's give me a toggle to change up that sheet transparency, fix a few of the bugs, touch up some of the nomenclature around the health and the hit point damage, and I give it a 10 out of 10 for early release. I'm right there with you. I don't really care about the sheet transparency thing, though, but I can see what that could be about bottom. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks fantastic. I mean, the fact that the multi-classing worked, the fact that the mixed ancestries worked, that you could name it, that you could swap, again, little thing, like a quality of life thing, like put the little swap so that you could swap the toggle, which one's first and which one's second. So that way you don't, if you want to be like this. Yep. We're on the east side of Cleveland, Captain Bursnatch. Little minor things, but the fact that that's in there and that I can give it a custom name is awesome. The fact that right off of the rip that I can go into the configuration right before we've even played the game, and I can just go into the configure settings, I can hit Daggerheart, and I can start adding use the range settings or not. I can change the values. I want my characters to have a different stat of arrays available to them. I want to have different fears or domain limits. I want to automate this. I don't want to automate that. So fantastic. I mean, I think this is all really, really, really cool and great stuff. And then also too, as I was saying with the actors, at the end of the day, I can just come in here, click my wrench or my wrench, and I can just physically change whatever I want. If the GM comes in here and says, "Hey, we're playing fiction first, and the old witch, she's dying," and it's that scene in Siege Tabir where the old Sayadina is dying and she gives her memories to Jessica via the water of life, and she passes on the knowledge. Yeah, cool. All right, add this. So I want you to add a new experience, and I want you to call it like Death Vision of the Swamp Witch. And boom, you have a new experience, and it's at 2, and that's it, done. Now we have that experience on our character sheet, and I think that to me is awesome. I can now roll with this. It's now available. That's the kind of thing I want in my game. Now I know you might say, "Well, PF2 does that." Yeah, PF2 is a fucking great module. PF2 is insane, but not every game, not every module has that kind of easy, quick flexibility. And when I'm playing a fiction first game, especially, I want that kind of functionality, and I don't want it to break my game. So, yeah, 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it really it's great. They added these little cool icons, which is great. I understand they can't put art in for everything. A little bit of placement art, would go a long way. But having these icons, the visual look of everything looks great. I think this looks amazing. So. I'm blown away, and I'm really excited. So I'm excited for this community. I'm excited for Dagger Hype, because this is gonna help a lot of people. Because I think a lot of people either didn't want to play Roll20 / didn't want to do the demiplane integration. You needed to use the demiplane integration in order to use the Roll20, because Roll20 didn't have a sheet. You had to use demiplane, but demiplane's free, but it didn't give you access to everything. Plus, it was really slow, laggy and slow. You couldn't customize. There were a lot of problems with it. Also money. And then you're like, "Oh, what I can buy it on demiplane." Why is the demiplane more expensive than a PDF, which I can use anywhere? But the demiplane is more expensive, but I can only use it on their platform. Nobody knows. So, but you get the PDF too. Yeah, but it's just all digital. It shouldn't even matter. Anyways, this is great, and this is fantastic. Also, in Roll20, we'd all have to have a subscription. It's a whole crazy. That is totally acceptable. I mean, by default, I think even Pathfinder 2, I think the monsters by default, I think just are maybe blank pieces. I think because I know, because I've had to buy the art packs for Northern Reaches and install them so that we could have the art packs and stuff like that. So, and I mean, remember, guys, you are literally looking at this is me, Derek, the pickiest person alive, picking apart, who, by the way, isn't really like a super Foundry expert. Picking apart a game system that just launched, and this is basically this is literally the first public release in the sense of that respect. I mean, the game itself is 78 days old or something, or 81 days old or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, the game itself only released 80 days ago, and that's how. I mean, that's where we're at with this game. It's pretty incredible, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Darrington puts together, and I'm really looking forward to the Foundry team. And I hope, Darrington, if you're listening, right, Darcy, Elise, if you're listening, that you work with these folks and you try to get them at least on somewhat of an inside track. Let them, your void testing could go a lot farther and faster if you're integrating with them, and you maybe work something out with them, because I think that's a great place for you to. I think, do not underestimate. I know the money from demiplane is probably good, but I'm telling you, Foundry is where communities grow. So that's going to do it for us. We're going to be back tomorrow. Well, today, actually, it's already past midnight, but we're going to be back tomorrow night, Sunday night, to talk about Draw Steel. All this namby-pamby feels and lack of grid bothering you? Good. Tomorrow we're going to be talking Draw Steel. And we're going to be talking about Book 2, which is the Book of Monsters.
Edward tipped $5.
Hey, thanks, Edward.
I'm worried. Derek isn't shitting on things as much as he used to. Hashtag dagger reaches.
You know, Edward, some people actually legitimately like think that I've like sold out, you know. I mean, even people on my Patreon were giving me tough shit. They're like, Derek, you know, what now? You're only going to cover popular systems anymore? And I was like, hey, I covered, you know, Panic at the Dojo, and I covered Hillfolk by Robin Laws, which is like a 5-year-old game, and we got like 1,000 views for that. So we're still covering unpopular stuff. But thank you, Edward. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Lollipop. It's just how we roll. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for me. Again, a big thank you to the folks over at Foundryborne, their team, for this Daggerheart system module. I really look forward to working with them and seeing what they're able to do. And you know, again, I think this is a fantastic first release. If there was a way to support them, I would suggest it, but they haven't really given us one yet. So, but they should. Meanwhile, for what we do over here, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about Draw Steel. And then next week, I mean, we still have Pathfinder 2 stuff to cover. We've got Starfinder stuff to cover. We have Old World stuff to cover. We've got Dungeon World 2 stuff to cover. You know, I mean, we kind of covered this before, but I do want to talk about some of the updates that we know are coming to Fabula Ultima vis-a-vis the big Kickstarter that's dropping this fall. And of course, we still have stuff for Shadow Dark via Shadow Deep. There's a very large, growing Triangle Agency contingent within the Knights of Last Call community. So, you know, always looking for cool new stuff. It won a bunch of Ennies, but I'm still excited about Mythic Bastion Land. Even though we did a stream about it, I do want to play this game so I could really actually talk about it and give it a proper review. Yeah, there's a lot. Meanwhile, we're going to do some Daggerheart streams. I owe the Europeans a Daggerheart stream because if you're a European, I owe you not only a Daggerheart stream, I owe you a Daggerheart giveaway because we still do have a couple Daggerheart boxes to give away. But also, we are going to be giving away some of these cool custom Daggerheart dice that were made for the Knights of Last Call. Thanks to the folks over at Mad Dragon. All right. So, Daggerheart, Draw Steel, Pathfinder, Starfinder, Old World Warhammer, Old World Triangle Agency, Nimble, Die, Triangle Agency, everything. So, and on top of all of that, Bob's trying to launch a Dragonbane mega game for our community folks. Northern Reaches is exploding in a good way. And yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time, as in like 18 hours on Knights of Last Call. Peace.